Welcome to the Gynergy Effect, where energy meets intention and transformation begins.
We're your hosts, Garin and Yesi, partners in life, love, and purpose.
Here to share the tools, truth, and stories that helped us build a life from the inside out.
Whether you're seeking deeper health, conscious relationships, or your next level of purpose,
you're in the right place. Welcome, everybody, to episode 9 of the Gynergy Effect podcast. Both Yesi and I are so excited to be here today with you, and we're grateful for you spending your time with us. Today, we have a special episode. People ask us all the time about our relationships. We posted on Instagram, and we crafted some questions around our relationship and what people are curious about. So we're going to dive deep. We're going to get in depth, let everything out, and share about us, our relationship, and our love, and why that matters to us so very much. So how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, baby.
Excited for
Let's
this
go.
episode. We get a lot of questions all the time, and I've been looking forward to taking the time to answer these questions from our hearts, no fluff, just real, honest, raw.
Yeah, we don't know where this is going to take us, so it's going to be a fun journey, say the least. So we want to get started with the first one. I think let's dive right in.
Let's dive right in.
Let's go. No time like the present.
First question. How do you maintain a healthy belief system that what you want is possible when you hit challenges or roadblocks? It's a great question.
That's great. You want to go first?
I'll take this one.
All right, let's go. That's a good one to take.
Challenges and roadblocks are an inevitable part of life. We all encounter them at some point, whether we're working to achieve something in business and relationships. So the question becomes, what do we do when these come up and all of a sudden we're having thoughts of self-doubt, even self-worth? Am I good enough? Am I worthy? Am I on the right path? And I have experienced multiple challenges. Both of us have overcome a lot of adversity to get to where we are today. So when these thoughts come up, I take myself back to a time in the past when I felt this before. And I think back of how I felt in that moment. And then I think of how I felt when I overcame that challenge. And that I remind myself that if I did it in the past, I can do it again. And everything that I've set my mind to do in the past, I've been able to achieve. So that knowing that I've been able to do that in the past gives me the confidence today to know that I can do it again. So for me, it's taking me back to a place in the past where I did it and reminding myself that there's nothing that I can't do. I've done it in the past, I've done it many times, and I can do it again. Even if in that moment it feels heavy, it feels challenging.
Wow. How powerful is that? So what I hear you saying is when you go through that adversity, when things get tough and you have that self-doubt, you put yourself back in a place where you've been in that situation before, you felt that, and you actually have overcome that.
Yeah.
And you've found success from that. And so then it reminds you and you reconnect with that energy that pain or that doubt or that anxiety is temporary.
Yes,
and the result that you can create from that is inevitable.
Exactly.
That's a powerful perspective. I think a lot of people can probably resonate with that. I know we all have self-doubt at different times. And what I've learned in my life too is that nobody has it figured out.
Nobody has it figured out. Everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I've talked with some of the most successful people and they don't have it figured out. And that's what you start to realize because we assume everybody else does.
Yeah,
right?
It's a good reminder to remind yourselves that we're all in it together and we're all trying to figure it out one way or another. So it gives
beautiful part of the human experience.
Exactly. It's part of the human experience. It's what makes life so beautiful, right? You experience some highs, some lows, and you're able to appreciate the highs when they come because you went through these lows and you're working them. So, great question.
That. Great answer. Let's go. That's a good way to start it off. Want to move on to the next one?
Next question. what was the lowest moment in our journey and how did we grow through it?
Ooh. Lowest moment in our journey and how did we grow through it?
Our journey as a couple.
I would say this, and maybe your perspective is different than mine. The hardest part and the lowest low for us, one, our relationship has been so unique in the amount of intention and value that we've put on our relationship, how we've shown up for each other, how we've been intentional about educating ourselves and going on date nights and doing all the things that really are important. But where we really get challenged sometimes is we're both, in essence, more like we have this empathetic, loving energy. Yeah. And a lot of times we give so much of ourselves in different ways. And we also are not like our strength, even though like I'm a visionary and you're an implementer, that sometimes like the overall structure of, organization in certain aspects has been tough because we're both just really in the moment and, value being very present. Yeah. And so sometimes I think that can be a challenge for how we align. Well, not how we align because we align very well, but just how we execute at times on certain things. Yeah. I would say that could be. So coming from a relationship and then adding a business element on it and having that separation, that is where that has been the biggest challenge. Yeah,
I agree.
Because we both give so much. Yeah. And then we still have to make sure we have stuff for ourselves, for each other, and for the other people that we're here to help create the impact. And sometimes that can draw on us and we are just so immersed into it that being able to take ourselves outside of that at times has been challenging.
I agree. I feel like that's a really good point. And I feel like prior to us working together, we really had almost like I don't say perfect, but it felt like a honeymoon type of relationship where we really didn't come up with a lot of conflict. There wasn't a lot of like imbalance energetically in the relationship. Like everything felt balanced, felt very smooth, very safe, very almost like structured in that way. And then we started working together and a different dynamic came into play with you being a visionary, me being an implementer, and us working together where we went from in the relationship, you being more in your masculine, more me and my feminine, so there was more of a balance. Right. Now we're working together where we're both more in our masculine. We have to navigate how can we work together and still have a balance when we're both more in a masculine energy and we're trying to figure out a new structure, right? When you're working together, it requires a different type of communication, structure, and almost like a different persona that you have to bring in the relationship. So I agree. I feel like the lowest point in that relationship has been navigating the transition from being in this honeymoon like relationship to now we're not just in a romantic relationship, we're business partners. And how do we maintain the romance, the passion, the intention while still working together and making progress towards our business objectives? And I think that's, something that's has been very challenging, but also we have learned so much. It's been like a masterclass in relationships this year. Like we've really been through we've been through it.
And that's what we talked about in the beginning. Said if we're gonna do this, it can end up being the absolute best thing, or it can be the worst thing. And we bet on ourselves and each other that it would be the best thing, because when we drive through this, and that outcome is the way that we understand each other now, the depth that we have together. You couldn't create that unless you go through some of those additional learnings and understanding. And now we can translate that off to anything that we do, and it will create incredible intention, incredible power, incredible unity. And that just reinforced our relationship. And that works because of this one thing, is both of us share the same core values. And we identify that very strongly. And so when you have the same core values and then you go to build something like that, and you can revert back to these are the negotiables, non-negotiables, these are the core values of what's important, this is our mission, then that really reaffirms and constitutes what it is or the why behind it, which allows us to show up for each other, show up for the business, show up for others. But it is hard at times with us giving so much to everybody and everything to have enough to give to ourselves. And so sometimes that can be a challenge for sure.
And I think you hit it right in the head when you said like it solidifies our why. I think despite going through these challenges in the relationship and working together, when you're going through this and overcoming the adversity together, it solidifies your why. And it really, like, I think at the end of the day, we both have such a strong belief in ourselves, but in this relationship, that we know that there's nothing that we can't overcome together. And I think going through these challenges has really solidified our why and the fact that we're in it together, that we're ride or die, and that there's nothing that we can't overcome together.
Let's go. Ride or die.
So.
I love it. All right, let's go to the next question.
Next question. What triggers you most in this relationship, and how do you work through it? Ooh, that's a good one. I'll take this one first.
All right, go ahead. I love how we're starting just like getting after it. Let's go.
What triggers me most personally in the relationship? In the grand scheme of things, this may sound like something so minor, but for me personally, this is very triggering, is when Garin doesn't put things back where they belong. It drives me crazy. And it sounds like something minor, like, oh, if that's your biggest problem, you're going to be okay. And I know, like, deep down that is true, but in the moment, it's very triggering for me. And I do feel that it has to do with the dynamics that I grew up with my mom and dad, where my mom, like, did a lot of things around the house, and I always felt like that wasn't fair. So, like, for me, like, I feel like it triggers something where, like, oh, like, it's not fair that I'm, like, also, like, working and doing things around the house. Like, you should be able to put things back where they belong. And it's even if it's not, like, something intentional, you're not thinking about, like, it feels to me like it almost disrespects my hard work. And those things, I would say, are the most triggering. And how do we work through it? I would say, like, having honest conversations and really getting to, like, why is this triggering? I feel in the beginning it took me a while to really understand why, but I feel we started to have those conversations and really dive deep into why is this so triggering? And I feel like the reason was because it was bringing me back to growing up and my childhood and feeling like the household chores around the house were not fair. And that I always told myself that I wanted a dynamic that wasn't like that.
Yeah, it sounds like, growing up, you watching your mom and dad and their dynamic, it was important to you that both people have, equal roles and responsibilities, and especially with us working together, and maybe that shifted a little bit, and then just feeling like I at least understand, or I am being intentional to put stuff away, and that I'm not doing it as of like, hey, you can do it, and that's on you. I don't have to do it, and I'm above that. Having that feeling doesn't feel good to you, of like just feeling like you're having to clean up and responsible for that, and that I'm not taking ownership or responsibility for that. That can be challenging at times. I'm sure that's tough. And for me, on my side, it's like my brain is just always moving.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm in the middle of one thing, and then when I'm like transitioning, my brain's already into the next thing fully, and it's always been a challenge for me. So, I always want you to know that I don't do that intentionally. And I try to be more mindful of that, because it's important. If something bothers you, it's important for me to let you know that, hey, I might not be perfect, and maybe it's not perfect all the time, but even if it's not a character flaw or something with me, I'm still working at it.
Yeah.
And I'm intentional, and I care about how you feel. And, that I value and I hear that. Right?
Yeah, and I definitely see that. Like this morning, for example, I woke up and you had already put the dishes away, ran the dishwasher for me. So I've definitely seen like the intention and also like the growth behind that. And I've also myself, I understand better why, like your brains, and you're visionary and your brains in so many different directions. And you didn't really grow up with a mom taking care of you. So you like someone to be nurturing and take care of you.
To be taken care of you.
So I feel like a part of that was also me understanding like that this is actually like a love language. It's not because you're like just not valuing me and my efforts. It's because you really like want to feel like nurtured and taken care of.
Right.
And I think we also now there's like, you're being more intentional about putting things back where they belong, but also we we have hired like a cleaner to help us. That way it's not like all on me. That's another, way to work through this, where if it's so triggering, maybe you find a solution with finding outside help. So that way I feel more supported and you feel like you can be in your zone of genius, working and operating without having to be, distracted by like cleaning the little things around the house that doesn't allow you to operate in your genius.
Yeah.
So I feel that has been really beneficial, finding like a cleaner, and also for me like to know that I'm supported and I can ask for support, and you're not going to be you're not going to be defensive when I bring it up.
And that's part of why I narrow down my wardrobe for decision fatigue, like having to choose what outfit and everything else every morning, but also to mitigate the amount of clothes and everything. So all of that is intentional and it makes it more organized. Yeah. So there's little other things that we can do to help with that as well, right? Around it. Maybe there's different examples, when you're talking to your partner. But the number one thing is really, I talked about this in one of my story, it's not listening to respond, right? Like what I just did wasn't listening to respond to you. It's listening to understand. So when we're together and you have a concern or something, it could be like, oh yeah, but da-da-da-da. Yeah. And then nobody feels heard, no one feels valued. And what's the end game? What do you want to have from that outcome? And so if the outcome that you want to have is a really strong relationship that's built on a foundation of communication and respect, then listening to understand is going to be a big way to do that. And I think this talks to, when we're talking about triggers, us being able to talk through those triggers have been a big part of why our relationship is the way it is. Yeah. For me...
Yeah, I was going to ask, what about you?
My trigger with you is negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of negative self-talk, and that might be surprising to people because they see your beautiful energy and everything else. But you're your worst, hardest critic and just beat yourself up a lot. And that wears on me and it takes a toll on me. And I don't like it. And so, sometimes I feel like an abnormal amount of energy and effort and time on reaffirming that stuff with you instead of us flowing. And sometimes that can trigger me, right? Where it's like, I just want us to be in this moment and flow. But then when you get through that, what comes from it is so amazing, right? So there's this beautiful part of you that if that's a kind of the shadow, I guess, what it would be if that's what we have to work through, then that's what we have to work through, right? But I don't like hearing you talk about, I wouldn't allow somebody else to talk to you like that. Why would I want you to talk to you like that?
Yeah, and I wouldn't talk to anyone like that either. I think it goes back to the first question, when you're going through a difficult part of life, when you're overcoming some of those challenges and obstacles, those negative thoughts will creep in. And I think sometimes it's I have a hard time not letting them take over. Right. And it's something that I'm mindful of and aware of and working through. But there's some days that it's, especially, women, we have a wide range, a wide array of emotions, right? Especially when we're going through our menstrual cycle. And some of those times it does become a little challenging. And it is, we are human. We're not perfect. And I'm definitely not perfect. So that's definitely one of the areas where I struggle the most, especially around that time of the month. I feel like those negative thoughts that I can usually identify and shift my mindset, when it's around that time of the month, I have a harder time doing that. Right. I don't know if it's the hormonal imbalance. I'm still trying to figure that part out. But during those times, it becomes really challenging. I think the more I allow myself to rest and recharge during that time, that helps me tremendously. But I feel like it's when it's that time of the month and I'm not getting proper rest, that it's really easy for it to spiral out of control.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing is, too, because you have the most beautiful energy of anybody that I've ever met. And you're this, precious, just, I don't know, just this beautiful, precious thing, that I want to protect and make sure that's good. So, you have such a gift to share with the world. Yeah. And I want you to see the same thing that everybody else sees, So that'll be that. Let's move on to the next one. What would be the next question here?
Next question. What's something you've healed within yourself because of this relationship? It's a great question.
That's a great question. What's something you've healed within yourself because of this relationship?
I would say I'll take this one first. There are a few things, but if I had to identify one thing that I've healed in this relationship is the need to prove myself, to prove that I'm enough or worthy, or that I need, to live up to this potential. I feel this relationship has allowed me to feel safe, to be myself authentically, and to just be, that it's okay for me to be where I am. And to feel safe that you're able to meet me where I am and that you don't have an expectation that I'm going to be something else or someone else. I feel that has been really healing for me. In past relationships, I found myself feeling like I had to prove something, feeling like the pressure. Like sometimes I would feel like I was walking on eggshells, that I wasn't good enough. This is the first time in a relationship where I feel like I can safe to just be fully myself, whether it's when I'm feeling like my best and I have this beautiful energy, or like you said, when I'm feeling like I have this negative self-talk. I feel safe and that I can be where I am, and that you're going to be okay with that. Not only okay with that, but you're going to love me and support me through it. And it's not going to be a deal breaker. I don't feel like, oh, if I'm not like I'm a perfect, Garen's going to leave me. I feel safe, and I feel that has been really healing, to feel that I can just be where I am.
I love that.
What about you? What would you say?
I don't know.
What have you healed in this relationship?
Oh, that was a really good answer. So for me, it's, I went through I was, married before and divorced, and, I've been in different relationships, but I've never really felt fully in alignment with the values, with how I look at the world and how maybe somebody else looks at the world, and why that matters. And in this relationship, I've never felt so aligned in that way. Like somebody just no matter what we do, when we do it together, it's better. And I love being with you and having you by my side, and us going out and just these different adventures, and just, it's just fun. Like I'm never like, oh, I just, want to do stuff without you or whatever. And granted, it's good to have our own time and everything else, but it's just, it just adds, right? And so there's a part of me that was like my inner child, that joyful, that have fun, relax, and be able to like just be me, that I feel like hasn't really been fully seen. And with you, I feel like it's been fully seen. And I really value that, and I'm grateful for that, because we go on these incredible, adventures, and they're so fun. So I would say what's healed within me is you've definitely helped heal that inner child inside me, to allow me to express myself the way that, I feel. And, I'm just, for me, it's like I'm going to be me, no matter who I'm with, who I'm around, whatever. It's, I'm not going to, you can flow in situations, but I'm not ever going to adapt my value situation for anybody else. It's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, I love that answer. And I think that's one of the reasons why I value or date nights or date days so much, because I see that like your inner child come out and play, and it's so beautiful to see and to experience. And I completely agree. I feel like no matter what we do, it's always so fun. It's always an adventure.
Yeah. 2 little kids out there. All right. That was a good one. All right. So what's next?
These are great questions.
Yeah, these are fun, huh?
Okay.
Hope everybody's having fun.
Next question. What's a moment when the other person said something that completely shifted your identity or belief in yourself? These are deep questions.
Yeah, we ain't playing out here, are we?
You want to take that one first? Yeah. Who do you think?
Yeah, I think actually you just said it, and as you said this previous as well, and you say it quite often actually, is the fact that you feel safe.
Yeah.
And that you feel like you can be like that true, authentic you.
Yeah.
And as a man, I think that's what we all want. That's what we all desire, is that our partner, our family feels safe. They feel like they can express themselves and the best versions of of them can come out.
Yeah.
And when you say that, I feel like the best versions of you can come out, and that's what I want to feed into.
Yeah.
And so when you say that, especially with, kind of different things that I've been through in life that haven't been easy, I really love that part of it. I take a lot of pride in that. Like, life has been challenging. I've had some very, low lows and then high highs and then low lows and high highs. And, I'm on like my third or fourth peak and valley, right? And so this is part of this journey of ascension. And having that part with you and having that foundation has been, it's been really, really a great part of it. So. What about you?
I would say this is more of a phrase that you came up with and more of a nickname for me.
I love that.
Which I absolutely love. It's, what is it, baby?
Mighty Mouse Magana. Let's go.
Yeah,
She is a Mighty Mouse.
So Garin gave me the nickname Mighty Mouse Magana. And I feel like when I'm feeling down, having self-doubt, feeling anxious, Garin reminds me that
Who you are.
Yeah, he would ask me, who are you? And then I would say, Mighty Mouse Magana. Usually it starts really low.
No, usually it starts as Baby Mouse.
Usually it starts Baby Mouse Magana. I'm Baby Mouse. Today I'm Baby Mouse Magana. And then he will continue to ask me, and every time he gets a little bit louder and I say with a little more confidence until I really start to like believe it and embody that Mighty Mouse Magana energy. And I feel like once I get to that point, like it reminds me of my power, and I feel like I can do anything.
It's funny, just like you speaking about it right now. It's like you started low, and at the end you're like I can do anything.
Mighty Mouse Magana.
Yeah, I love that. I also love when we're like, should we do this? Should we not? And you're like, fuck it. Because you rarely ever cuss.
Yeah, I don't swear very often at all.
And in that moment, you're like, fuck it. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Mighty Mouse. Time. I love that. That's really powerful. So when you're feeling a little bit down or not at your best, that positive affirmation really makes
Yeah, positive affirmations. That one in particular, but you also do a great job with coming up to me in the mornings and reminding me. You always do as like a series of positive affirmations, like you're so beautiful, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. You give me a bunch of like positive affirmations to start my day in the right headspace. Remind me not just of like my power and how beautiful I am, but how much you love me and how we're in it together. So when I start my day, I'm like, I feel empowered. So I do feel in the mornings, for me, that's when like it's the time when I wake up in the morning where I'm a little more anxious or maybe the self-doubt creeps in a little bit more. So having those positive affirmations to remind me of my power, who I am, and that we're in it together and our love is really, really powerful.
Makes a big
and it's
difference.
not just like a one-time thing you say. I think it's also the fact that you do this consistently every day. So it's a reminder. It's not things that we do once that matter. It's the little things that we do consistently that make the biggest difference.
It's like a ritual.
Yeah.
It's
One of our rituals, yeah.
Habit plus intention equals ritual. I'm gonna trademark that if it hasn't. I don't know. It just seems so obvious. So that was really powerful. So what would be the next question? I think this is going to be a good one.
What's a piece of advice you give others that you still struggle to follow yourself?
This is the thing with that question. One, I think it's really important for us to walk the walk and walk our talk, right? Yeah. So we put a lot of emphasis in that. I think part of, for me, I have challenges with is sleep. So I get up early, and then when I'm up early, I have like this time that I would much rather be living than sleeping. That's just how I am. Every day I'm like, this is my opportunity to go create the vision into reality that I have in my mind.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of motivation around that. And I feel like I can sleep when I'm dead, and that would be the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not having sleep. Like I'll sleep 3 and I have my whoop, I usually sleep like 3.5, 4 hours a night. And so I'll get up at, actual sleep, but I'll wake up like 3:45 a lot.
Yeah.
And I go to bed earlier than that, but that's what it tracks is that much time that I'm sleeping. and then I'm up at like 3:45, and then I have my time, and then I'm able to dive in. But I do notice at times not having the sleep creates maybe me not being at the optimal level, with my brain, and cognitively wise. I mean, morning is my zone of genius. That's when I'm absolute best, when I have the most amount of inspiration. I feel like I'm tapped in the morning with like, here, focus on this, tap this is the messaging. Like I literally feel like I'm a conduit and I'm going and I'm implementing things in, and like I'll literally will give everything I have to that. And I think part of that mission and that responsibility that I feel at times can be out of alignment with some of the things that we talk about, like living a level 5 life and having everything be equal.
Yeah, recovery is so important for a level 5 life.
And I'm also like focused sometimes a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, and not as focused as like right now, this moment, the outcome I have to create for this moment. I'm more focused on like, let me build to create this bigger like city. I'm not just building one building, I'm building like a city in my mind, right? So that I think can be a challenge, because every day living with intention, prioritizing those 3 biggest parts that make an impact and being in that. Maybe sometimes I don't always do that.
Yeah. And I see that you're incredibly committed and passionate about your vision together, and your vision that you're just like, you just want to get up and like get after. And I admire how your dedication and how committed you are. But sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like how is he up at 3 a.m? You're like superhuman. Maybe like 0.01% of the population can sleep so little and still operate at a high level.
Yeah. So it's having that balance of, am I doing things to do it, or am I being optimal with
Yeah,
it?
exactly. But it's a good reminder, right?
Optimal.
Right.
Because it's not the amount of time. Everyone's like, I'm too busy to do this. I'm too busy to do that. Well, are you though? Because what are you actually doing? And what is too busy? What does that actually mean?
And is this sustainable, right? Is it sustainable, right?
So then you start breaking that down with, are you like in the car just driving and don't realize really that you're driving and where you're going? Or are you on a racetrack and you're running around the track in the perfect line with the right setup and the tires and, everything's, tuned in exactly to get the best lap time? Or are you on like this marathon and you've got your gear and it's built for optimal? Like, what lane are you in? What are your end goals, and are you following along with that? Or are you just aimlessly moving, right? And so I think really being intentional around that helps solve that.
Yeah. It's a great answer.
Yeah. What about you? What piece of advice to give others that you struggle with yourself?
For me, I know it's something pretty similar to what you said. I would say it's slowing down. I feel like that's something that I often tell people, to slow down, to be present, to be, in the moment. But I'm finding that in this phase of my life, where it's a building phase, I'm having a really hard time prioritizing and setting all the appropriate boundaries so that I have enough time to slow down. Sometimes I feel like I'm kind of running and not giving myself enough time to recharge. And even though I want to slow down, I feel like there's so much that I need to get done that I don't see how I can do it and still get all of those things done. So I would say that for me, that's the one thing. Huh. And I know like I should slow down more, and I'm always working to seeing how I can set boundaries, and I'm really good at saying no to things, but when you're in a building phase of a business, it does become really challenging to not work on things because you're so passionate about it and there's so much like you can do, you just want to do it all. So just reminding myself to slow down. But that is definitely an advice that I struggle to follow.
Slow down. You gotta breathe.
Yeah.
Be present. Be in this moment. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. Because at one time we're gonna look back, and when everything's kind of lined up and really flowing and kind of at some point that snowball that we're building.
Yeah.
In the beginning you build a snowball, and you're pushing it uphill and you're working to get it be bigger. And, snowball's hard in the beginning. But then as you get it bigger, it becomes easier to pick up snow, but you're still pushing it uphill. And then at some point that turns into kind of a plateau. And then it's easier to push. And then at some point it goes and it's a downhill and it just keeps getting bigger. And you got to keep it on track. Keep it on track, it becomes a life of its own. Yeah. And right now we're pushing it uphill and we're getting it bigger and it becomes difficult. But these are the times that we're going to remember the most and have a ton of just really great feeling about, because that struggle is part of the journey that when you look back is going to be the most, you'll be the most grateful for it.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't go through that process, you wouldn't become the person that you are on the other side of it. And so that's where we are right now. Yeah. Becoming the people to be on the other side of that. And those people, that's a huge responsibility, because our goal is to impact people's lives. Yeah. And that's not something that is an easy thing.
Yeah, it does require a degree of sacrifice, and it is a big responsibility. And it's not reasonable to expect that you're going to get perfect 8 hours of sleep, perfect schedule every day. When you're building that, there's going to be things that come up. You have to be a little more flexible and be able to evolve and step out of your comfort zone in different ways, but still reminding yourself that at the end of the day, you have to take care of you and pour into yourself.
Because if you're always pouring out of an empty cup, it's like what we just said, you're just driving the car.
Right, and it's finding that balance, right, where you're okay, I need to be flexible, but I also need to fill my cup, right?
Yeah, be an F1 car on the track for a purpose, run the laps in the pit, run the laps in the pit, run the laps in the pit. We just watched that movie, F1. Yeah. It was a great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah. But they run the race, they're in the track. They're running, they're dialing everything in. That's life right there. Running like an F1 race.
Put in the reps, it's like working out.
Yeah, put in the reps.
Next question.
Can we get some funner questions?
I know.
Or lighter questions, man.
No.
It's been going.
Okay,
hard
let's go.
Here.
Let's do a fun one.
I think that last one. What was the last one at?
That's number 8 or number 9.
I don't know. Either one. Whatever you want, you pick.
Let's do this. This is a fun one.
All right.
If we had to survive a zombie apocalypse together, who would do what who would do what and would we make it? So we had to survive a zombie apocalypse. Who would do what and would we make it? It's a little more fun. I mean, you think zombies are fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, who would do what and would we make it? That's hilarious.
I definitely know Garin would be leading this zombie apocalypse. I would say my survival skills are limited compared to Garin. I feel Garin's definitely better when it comes to surviving and just being a leader in that way and a protector. And it's one of the reasons why I love Garin so much, because I feel so safe that he's going to protect me. And whether we're walking on the street or surviving in a zombie apocalypse, I know that he has my back and that I don't have to worry. So I trust his leadership, and as far as what we need, what we have to take, where we have to go, and I will surrender to that and follow his lead.
I love that. So a zombie apocalypse.
No pressure,
together.
baby.
Yeah, no pressure at all. It'll be pretty fun. I mean, let's go. Let's be a new adventure. I definitely think we're both very resourceful.
Yeah.
And I think we could definitely figure it out. And, you are like Mighty Mouse Magana. So you can, as long as you're in that Mighty Mouse Magana spirit.
Yeah, I am strong. Yeah. And also I would probably be the one preparing the supplies. Yeah, I'm more organized.
You'd be preparing the supplies. And I would be mapping out and influencing and doing those things. And maybe I could get the zombies on our team.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I'll go out and I'll start talking to the zombies.
Garin's pretty convincing.
I'll bridge that gap through communication. Find out what is, what's going on with the zombies. What is it that they desire?
Oh, so get to the why. Okay.
Yeah, then we
I
can
love
be part
that.
of the zombie apocalypse. Let's go. Turn them.
And the good thing is that we're both in great physical shape. So as far as jumping,
right, there's not one of us that's going to be left behind.
Okay, we're both going to be okay.
Yeah, we'll be.
So would we make it?
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to make it, I mean, it's us. I mean, we have tools in our disposal to to make it. I have some preparation.
So we are resourceful, we have like physical abilities, and we have each other. We trust each other to work as a team.
That's number one.
And lean on each
trust.
other, right? It's a trust.
Yeah, trust.
And I trust you to lead, but you trust me to support.
Right, 100%. So bring it on, zombies.
Okay, we got this.
Where you at? Let's go. We're ready. I got some supplies prepped. So, all right, that's funny. It was good. I think we shared a lot with everybody about us and our lives, and I hope that gives you insight and maybe helps, people in the process of wherever they are. Because that's the one thing, you can only meet people where they are.
Yeah, that's true. What's one promise we want to make to our future selves, and invite our listeners to do the same? I would say to promise to live with integrity and in alignment with our values. So no matter what we decide to do, that we're going to operate from a place of love rather than fear, and that we're going to stay true to who we are, and we're going to lead with heart before anything else.
That was perfect. Yeah. I don't even know if I need to add anything to that. That was so powerful. That's beautiful, baby.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah. So proud of you.
I'm so proud of you.
I love that. I already see that. I mean, you already live that way. I would say mine would be to live with vulnerability, to have an open heart, open mind, be curious, and live in alignment always with my values. Yeah. Stay true to the vision that I have, while also allowing, to have fluidity, but those non-negotiables. And, my whole mantra is around creating impact and really embracing, the journey, because part of this human experience is there's incredible times, there's difficult times, and, it's just if you stay on your rock, because I have this vision where it's like, here's this rock, and it doesn't matter if there's calmness, here is me on top of it. It's calm, I'm there, and that's my values and everything that's below that. That's who I am as a person. It's my mantra. That's all these things that create me. It's like what we do in Date Zero. And then if there's a storm, it's a hurricane, it's a tsunami, it's a tornado, it doesn't matter what's going on around me. I'm still here. My core values, who I am, what I believe in, those don't shift. While staying curious, while staying, with impact, service, and gratitude as being a lot of those drivers, key drivers. So,
I see you doing that every day.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
It's just getting started. That's what I get excited about. It's part of why we're doing this podcast. So, that was a lot. Man. Got deep on there.
Yeah, great questions.
Yeah. I would say the best relationships are practiced.
Yeah,
they're not just...
And reaffirms the fact that love isn't just a feeling. Love is really a verb. It's an action verb, and it's a decision you get to make. Not that you have to make, that you get to make every day.
Right.
And it's a decision that we're intentionally making every day, and I wouldn't have it otherwise.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't do it any other way with anybody else. And I'm grateful to have you as my life partner. And, I'm just so grateful and blessed, and I'm so excited to see you flourish into everything that you desire. I love that. So
the Gynergy Effect.
That's right. So I hope you guys today enjoyed this episode. If it resonated with you, please like and comment and follow us on there. Share it with people so they can also get to know us and understand our mission and the impact that we desire to create. And if you have any feedback, we'd love to have that too. You can rate it and you can leave a comment, whatever you'd like to do. And this is the Gynergy Effect. Where can people find us?
You can find us at The Gynergy Effect on Instagram, our website, gynergy.com, and our personal Instagrams at YesiFit_ and at Garin Heslov.
And that concludes this episode this week. Be ready for next week's episode. It's going to be fire. We're bringing some heat, doing something a little special. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Let's go. Bye, everybody.
If this episode spoke to your soul,
share it with someone you love and tag us at the Gynergy Effect. We'd love to connect.
and remember, your energy is your power. Use it with intention.